"Thank you, Doris," Daisy said with a smile as the maid opened the drawing-room door to show her in. One could never tell. She might be a useful source of information sometime. She appeared old enough to have been in service at the vicarage during at least the latter part of the war, when Johnny had been spied on. Doris didn't breach etiquette, or her own sullen nature, so far as to smile in response, but she gave Daisy a look that was almost cordial. "Miss Dalrymple, ma'am," she announced. The room, like the house, was of a size to fit a Victorian family. It was probably frightfully draughty in winter, and even on this summer day it was gloomy, with its dark, heavy furniture and sombre wallpaper. The tea-table was set up on the far side, near the open windows. 4 ladies were in attendance. A slight, faded woman in blue started up from her seat and fluttered to meet Daisy. "So kind," she faltered breathlessly. "I don't expect you remember." Fortunately, Daisy did. "Of course, Mrs. Lomax," she assured the brigadier's wife. "How nice to see you again." "So kind." Seated behind the tea-table, Mrs. Osborne intervened. "Mrs. Lomax is our chairman this year, Miss Dalrymple," she announced with a severe glance at that flustered lady, who promptly retreated to her chair. "The rest of the committee is delighted to second my invitation to you to speak to our members tomorrow." Daisy was not pleased to learn that the request for her services had not been agreed upon beforehand by all those involved. Still, whoever was chairman, the committee was obviously controlled by the vicar's wife, and she had presumably taken the concurrence of the others for granted. She poured Daisy a cup of tea. "Ceylon, in your honour," she said with a heavy-handed playfulness. "You see, I noted your preference." Though she really did prefer Indian, Daisy was tempted to express a craving for oolong. She murmured something polite, accepted a piece of gingerbread, presented already sliced, she noted, after the professor's depredations, and took a seat. "You are acquainted with Miss Prothero, I understand?" Mrs. Osborne went on. "Not properly introduced, I fear," the white-haired old lady tittered. "How do you do, Miss Dalrymple? We all anticipate your lecture with the greatest pleasure." "Thank you," Daisy said with a sudden qualm. Having accepted the invitation, thinking only of her quest, without the foggiest idea what she was going to talk about, she hoped no one would ask. Hastily, she turned to the 4th member of the committee. "I don't believe we've met." "Mrs. Gresham." Mrs. Osborne's tone was dismissive. Farmer Gresham's wife? She was a dark, pretty woman, a few years older than Daisy, dressed in a neat, unpretentious navy frock. Her Sunday best, perhaps, except that her husband was an atheist, so possibly Sunday was just another day of the week. "How do you do, Miss Dalrymple?" she said composedly, in a soft voice, with a slight but definite Kent accent. "I know our members will be grateful to hear about something different for a change." "I hope I'll manage to interest them," Daisy said with a friendly smile. Mrs. Gresham's answering smile was quizzical. With a glance half challenging, half mocking at the vicar's wife, she said, "I shouldn't worry. For most of them, the meetings are an excuse to get out of the house. They will even sit still for a lecture on flower arranging, a genteel occupation few have the leisure to indulge in." Daisy laughed. "What a relief! How long am I expected to blather on?" Mrs. Osborne firmly retrieved the reins of the conversation. "Half an hour is the usual. We have a general meeting first and tea afterwards. Tea, I'm afraid. So if you can be at the parish hall by 3, Miss Dalrymple, that will give me time to introduce you and— You don't want to do the introduction, do you, Mrs. Lomax?" "Oh, no.